Good evening, everyone. To round 5 of the Fabul Gauntlet tournament. We have nightdew versus neongrey. Looks like we've got a telestart.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting. Very nice. You get to walk around and see some different routing strategies than normal, being able to exit out of everywhere really quickly. But more importantly, we have a 2v2 match, or 2-and-2 match, I should say, not 2v2, where both of these runners are fighting for their chance to stay in the Fabul Gauntlet tournament and make their way to brackets. So anyway, how do you normally feel about telestarts, Min?
Considering I roll them almost every seed, it's something I roll my eyes at almost every time. I know it's gonna make me want to do early ordeals, which is never fun.
I wouldn't say it's never fun. I certainly like a crystal sword every now and then, even if it wouldn't be the best viewing pleasure. But other than that, we've got the standard Fabul Gauntlet flags. We'll have 5 random objectives. All of our key items will be in the regular locations or in the summon bosses or the moon. T standard, S standard, so probably going to have sirens in the underground. Pretty standard stuff. Looking forward to seeing if all Gauntlet will give us some nice trolls, and either way, we should be getting started very shortly. So what has your favorite part of the tournament been so far, Min?
I like the 1v1 style in comparison to like the other tournaments that have been held in the past. I don't really like 4-way races as much as I like one-on-one.
And we do see a Lunar Sparkle and the Quake Kid.
Pigtail is our first item.
Yeah, this is definitely a pretty interesting start. For your first boss fight, you're going to be a little bit underleveled or underpowered, but find a couple J items, maybe a dancing dagger, get through one single battle, and then Palom is going to be killing all of the overworld bosses, and we are just about to get our objectives up here. Octoman, Baigan, D-Lunars, I think I saw the Magma Key, and what was the other key item objective?
Zot.
The Tower Zot. Okay. So this could be a very short seed, or this could be a very long seed. So...
There's a Demoness on the Baron Guard.
So the good news is that won't take forever. The bad news is you're only going to get an Edward out of it. So plus it's going to hit pretty hard. This team isn't quite ready to take on, but after cleaning up a little bit of EXP, we should be able to take care of that pretty easily. It's also important to note that we did see that Lunar Sparkle in Baron at the very start, so our D-Lunars could already be found. We won't know until later, but definitely something the runners could make a big difference in the run if the runners remember that original boss. Chat mentioning the Sylph summon that was found in the Baron shop, and could be a very big play. That's something that's really came out in the S standard, is being able to find summons for Cell really makes the early game a lot easier for Rydia, who used to struggle quite a bit in these lower powered flag sets.
No huge pieces of equipment just yet, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be pretty standard. You're going to want to check for a few J items, just a little bit of equipment to get you through that first boss fight, and once you get that first boss under your belt, you should have a pretty easy early game, especially depending on who is sitting up there on Hobbs waiting to be rescued. And I think we already saw a curse ring for Cell, so late game anchoring is not going to be a problem. We did see an Ogre, so if we find a Sid or a Kane up there on the mountain, that will be very nice.
Grimoire and a Gaia drum too, which will help out a lot for these early game bosses.
So yeah, this is right now shaping up to be a pretty decent seed. Our runners are finding exactly what they need and should be able to move on to bigger and better things here in just a minute. So, one very interesting question is, who would you want to see up here on Hobbs? Min.
I'd want to see a physical attacker, probably Sid, Kane. I don't want to see Cecil this early just because he's not the greatest, and we'd have to go up our deals to make him useful, but a good physical attacker to round out this party would be ideal. Nope, it's Rydia.
Well, we did already see that self-summon, so we'll have to see if our runners decide to go back and get it. The good thing about the Leviathan here is it's not going to hit. You're going to have a little bit of extra buffer, but trying to go with the lit ones, you're not going to get through this fast enough. But deciding to pull out that Grimoire, so a lucky roll right here could end this fight. Demus is not going to do it though. Does HP base damage, 32 damage. Yeah. Time to bring out that Grimoire, or things are about to get very icy. Or not. Okay. Ooh, that's unfortunate. The Rydia taking the Ice 2 for 100 damage and going down right before. Yeah. Yeah. That's going to put her a little bit behind in getting levels, but overall it shouldn't be too bad. Rydia still levels up pretty quickly. Even if you just do the Antlion boss, that'll give her enough MP to cast Sylph, and that's all she really needs to be helpful in the early game, but can sometimes be tricky to keep her alive for these early bosses and get her to her first power spike.
There's a flame whip in Outlion Cave.
Yeah, that flame whip could be very interesting. It gives several additional stats, most notably +5 agility, +5 vitality, +5 strength. So the strength probably is not going to help out, but sacrificing your mage stats for a little bit and getting that extra vitality for a little bit extra defense wouldn't be bad this early game. It's not much, but it doesn't have to be that much early game.
Waterfall Cave check. It's a water hag. And Gauntlet's still in play.
I'm actually curious why Neon spent that long on the fight. Normally you reset that a little bit early. I wonder if they were thinking they could land a couple hits and get a little bit of EXP and the loot in the cave, but that spot is very, very fast, so not going that well. Meanwhile, Nightdew is heading towards the boss in Antlion, and we see one of the Kaipo guards, so not a dangerous fight. Will be interesting to see if he decides to pull out a J item and finish this all off very quickly, or if he wants to just slowly take out the soldiers and save his J items for Fabul.
Considering it's here and we have Palam's level 2 spells, I wouldn't waste it.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting question of, do you want to try to keep the officer alive for Rydia EXP? And with that paralyzed hit, it does seem like Rydia is going to get a little bit of EXP, and it should be a lot easier to keep her alive in the next few fights.
Leviathan summon. It's a big find this early, especially considering we got that Rydia pretty quick.
Yeah, that Leviathan almost makes Sylph not required. I would still pick one up when I go back to Baron, but Leviathan, definitely a very, very strong summon. And as chat was mentioning, neither of our runners have yet checked the summon spell on Hobbs, which could be a free Sylph summon. It could be any summon in the game except Leviathan and Bahamut, but so far, obviously that wouldn't matter since we do have Leviathan. We can do some damage, so... And... it looks like... I'm not exactly sure what just happened on Nightdew's side.
No, that was really weird.
Maybe a little bit of technical difficulties for him. Maybe his game froze up a little bit. I know I've seen that very, very rarely happen, but...
What it looks like to me is his game crashed and he had to reload the wrong...
Ouch, you hate to see that, but if he feels like it's a big trouble, I'm pretty... this early... yeah, I'm not really sure. That's definitely not what you want to see in a race like this, but we also have Neon heading up, finding the Rydia as well, and shouldn't have too much problem with this Leviathan now that Palom has some level 2 spells. But so far we haven't found our underground access. Going to be interesting if people decide to try to fade Fabul. I probably wouldn't. And are we having more difficulties on Nightdew's side?
Huh.
Wow, that's really unfortunate for Nightdew. I do know that if you're having a lot of difficulties, you can request while you're playing that the seed be restarted, especially these difficulties early in the run, but I've not heard anything about that yet, so it looks like he's planning on continuing to run this, and we'll just have to see. really not sure quite what's going on. Meanwhile, Neon is through Leviathan, managed to keep Rydia up, so yeah, this is going to give that Rydia enough MP to really start making great use of that Leviathan summon, and shouldn't have any problems with Fabul, or even ordeals if Neon decides to go there next. Anyway, with that, our runners are pretty much dead even again. I think Neon might have done a little bit of extra shopping, but pretty much in sync as they head into Fabul. So, I know that these runners are both very experienced, but just a little pet peeve of mine, you should always check the boss before you check the shops. Because if this is Valvalis and you have to reset, you're going to be very, very unhappy. Okay, Antlion, that should be easy enough to get through. It's just you want to be safe. Like, it hurts when you put 3 or 4 minutes into shopping and everything, and then everything goes out of whack because now you have to redo all of that stuff. It's always better to check the boss first. Anyway, pet peeves aside, Leviathan for Neon pretty much one-shots Antlion, but even though it's going to take just a little bit longer for Nightdew to get through here, once Antlion goes down, his Rydia will be online as well.
And we get from the king is Crystal Ring.
That's definitely going to be interesting. You can either put that on Rydia or Palom right now, and I would be highly tempted to put it on Rydia and just spam Leviathan over and over and over again. That sounds like a lot of fun. Just go up ordeals, spam Leviathan, kill everything, especially if we can somehow find a charm. We already found an Elven Bow, but if we could find a Charm Rod and just spam Leviathan, that would be wonderful.
Surprising lack of key items so far in the seed, though, still only having that pink tip.
I don't know if I would call it surprising. We've already seen D-Mist is blatantly sitting there in the end like, hey guys, how about we have some fun? And we still have ordeals, so we've got 3 very obvious checks left, so still quite a bit for our runners to do here on the overworld. And to answer a question in chat by Blywin, the Crystal Ring does not make Leviathan or Bahamut do more damage. It just increases the agility of the wearer, and with 5 more agility, Rydia would be faster than Tella and Palaman going, and most of the bosses for that fact, and going first at the beginning of every battle, so it could queue up that Leviathan very quickly and kill most bosses before they get a second or third attack. Not to mention, it gives a ridiculous amount of defense, so in the back row, Rydia would literally not die to anything.
And our first bit of divergence, nightdew opting for the Baron in play while neongrey is going to clan Mountain.
Yeah, this is an interesting divergence. Obviously with Tella, you and 3 bosses, you want to go up the mountain eventually, but you really can't blame anyone for wanting to kill Demas first, and just go through the end. In particular, you only have 2 bosses and one of them's very easy, and Calbrena is going to be extremely free. Going ahead and using a J item, you might as well, but I personally would have probably went for Leviathan, but same result. These J items are not going to be worth much anymore, and we do see the alt gauntlet appearing on the top of the mountain. For those who are not familiar with the alt gauntlet flag, the alt gauntlet flag takes a selection of 5 random encounters from the nearby area, and you have to fight all of them back to back. And sometimes that can be quite interesting. As we can see here, you don't normally fight these monsters, so Neon having to deal with the spirits being not zombies and absorb fire, so quite an interesting fight up here. It'll be neat to see.
Mom having the hook.
Oh man, the hook seed.
Hook seed.
Yes, please. There could still be progression through ordeals, but it would be very interesting, and it does look like nightdew is going to go check that hook, or at least the pink tail. Yeah. What's your favorite pink tail item, Min?
I'm not completely familiar with all the items in the pool, but I do like, I just like high tier equipment.
The correct answer is the adamant armor, but an Avenger is not bad either.
the adament's up there, but I like myself a good Avenger.
And I think having an Avenger, I think that makes you want to go down to the hook. You want to check that character. If it's that Kane, if it's that Cecil, you now know. If it's a Kane, I might even just go through the underground right here and there. I'll come back for ordeals later. That's a little bit of a gamble depending on who the boss is, but definitely a very real possibility. Otherwise, we're going to... if it's Cecil, then that's obvious. Come back, get through ordeals, and yeah, at least you have boss knowledge. But if it's a Fu, we've had several races decided by which runner got Fu first, and nightdew not checking the character. Come on, you have Tella, you have Exit. Oh well.
Leviathan does a lot of damage.
Yeah, Neon getting lucky and pulling Leviathan out of the Grimwire, and cool 3,000 damage on everything. Nothing too special, except it would literally one-shot any boss in the overworld right now. So, yeah, Leviathan, great summon. Not much else to say.
Nightdew starting up the alt gauntlet. And resetting out immediately.
Yeah, probably wants to... Oh.
Just probably gonna go check the character through hook.
Nightdew's like, I don't want the alt gauntlet. I've already lost 6 minutes to technical difficulties. I'm gonna leave that for my opponent. So, yeah, we're going to see. And to answer a question in chat, the stats used in the Alt Gauntlet are the exact same as the normal random encounters. So nothing special about the Alt Gauntlet besides that they're random encounters from the nearby area. I believe it's the 3rd through the 7th encounter of a particular area in the game, usually one that is very close by.
We have back attack King and Queen Edlon.
Most runners would prefer to see this in a more difficult spot. A Charm Rod for Nightdew, that's going to be really nice. Deciding, I don't even want that 3rd treasure chest because I don't want to reset out of the Charm Rod. So just taking the Charm Rod and yeah, I'd be going along my way too. I did notice Nightdew...
Coffins and Starveils.
Coffins, depending on what the boss is, those coffins could be very useful. And Nightdew picking up a bunch of them, but... this is going to be interesting. I saw Nightdew did not bother to buy that Sylph Summon when he was in Baron, so right now his team is very low on healing power. He's got Tella with Cure 2, and that's it. I guess you could count Cure 1 on Rydia, but that doesn't really count when she's going to be casting Leviathan nonstop.
It's a foo.
More importantly, that's an evil wall. We did get a...
It's a crystal sword up ordeals.
Oh man.
This is like required, looks like.
That is ordeals required. Ordeals required, and that could cause Nightdew a lot. Nightdew is incentivized to leave here because he has food. And needs those spells, but yeah, definitely very interesting developments right here. Fu obviously is going to completely destroy everything once he gets a few levels under his belt, but he does need those, or I said levels, but few bosses under his belt. We do see Nightdew immediately going for the free bosses. It's going to be interesting if he decides to go up ordeals, because if he puts that off for too long and we find a Cecil in Dwarf Castle or something, that could be the end of this, because not only does Neon have the Octoman, so ordeals is required, but that Crystal Sword, once Cecil comes online, is going to melt anything and everything in your path, so... yeah, we're gonna definitely be interesting to see how this seed develops.
Leviathan quickly wiping out the Magus Sister. Wall Charm and Stop. Wall's nice, but we have Starveils, so...
Yeah, especially with the 4.0 version of Free Enterprise, Nuke has become very heavily weighted into the later tier list, so it's going to be interesting to see if Nightdew is even able to get Nuke without doing ordeals. I think it's fairly unlikely, and Fu is just not the same without Nuke. He's a good black mage, but Nuke is such an overpowered spell. Meanwhile, Neon about to take on their Demist, and will not be long until they find out the news of a hook-required seed.
Even less an evil wallet, Rubicante.
Yeah, the Evil Wall at Ruby is going to be very, very interesting, because it's not... With the ribbon and the crystal ring, you put those on Fu, and Fu cannot die. Fu in the back row with those two will survive Crush, will survive everything. But that doesn't matter if you don't have enough MP to... or Nuke to be able to get through it. But Nightdew seeing that and definitely going up the mountain, just stopping here to get some MP refilled, and away we go.
Nightdew making their second ordeals climb. Probably gonna take on the Gauntlet this time.
Yeah, I mean, you know it's up here. You don't come back up here unless you're ready to commit. Honestly, at this point, this shouldn't be too hard. Fu is going to have the spells to make quick work of this. It's just a matter of how long is it going to take, and unfortunately, because of priorities and everything, is probably going to take a decent amount of time to be able to shuffle around to Fu and cast his spells every time.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get their hook or do some shopping first.
Yeah, Neon coming back here might be looking to pick up that Sylph Summon. Not a bad idea right before a hook route. Obviously, they don't know it's a hook route yet, but they will be finding out very, very soon. But if they did remember that there's a Sylph Summon here, this could be one of the defining plays. Sylph, no EMP cost, able to cast over and over, but does not check the shot. I think Neon... I'm slightly confused. Neon might be just trying to put bows and arrows on Edward? I'm confused. Does not even check for the Sylphs. Oh, no, goes back for the Sylph Summon. Okay. I was like, why are you here selling stuff if you're not going to buy the Sylph Summon? Yes.
There's Sylph Summon. Nightdew slowly but surely making his way through the Gauntlet.
Yeah, these level 3 spells are going to chew through the Gauntlet pretty quickly. Meanwhile, Neon about to get the news of the Hook Seed, and shortly after we'll get the news of the Fu, and I mean, there's both good news and bad news. You're going to see that nasty, nasty evil wall, and trust me, that is not the thing you want to see there. But with the ribbon, just with the ribbon, that's going to make the crush not instantly kill one of your party members. So you can have one party member survive forever.
Once you get to just learn nuke.
Okay. That does mean Neon should have nuke without having to come back and do the 2 free bosses. So yeah, it's gonna definitely be interesting how this goes. That is a lot of charm arrows. Neon wanting all the arrows. Gonna make this Eddie do some work.
Makes quick work of King Eggblood. Queen Eggblood should be shortly after.
And with that, our runners are once again pulling almost back to parity. We're gonna see Neon turn in this pink tail and then start down that hook route. And Nightdew will not be far behind despite having to go back up ordeals a second time. So, how many times have you fought Evil Wall at Rubicant, Min?
Once, and I quit that seed. That was back when I first started playing, and I could not get past it for the life of.
Yeah, definitely not one of the nicer enemies. What's really going to make or break these runners' attempts is if they can find ethers. Ruby Spot, please buy ethers. Please buy ethers. Okay, Neon has ethers. I'm not sure if Nightdew has ethers, but the big main point of that Evil Wall fight is it's going to have 25,000 HP. And even if Fu casts Nuke all 3 times that he can, that's only going to be about 15,000. And really it's going to come down to, you can do 15,000 for free, but how are you going to get that remaining 10,000 damage dealt? And that could be a very significant factor in this upcoming fight.
Yeah, I'm doing some more shopping, and I would assume Nightdew's either gonna go shopping or make his way down to Cave Ablon, which it looks like he's going to do.
Smetty mentioning hide strategies, which it's a somewhat unwell-known fact that when Edward is hiding and is the only target that Evil Wall can attack, Evil Wall will start punching itself in the face, which is hilarious. The unfortunate part is the Rubicant spot has a lot of HP and not nearly as much attack power, so it will not kill itself alone. You're gonna need a little bit of help along the way, and just how fast the spot is, you're not going to really expect that to make a huge difference, but anyway, our runners are once again converging on the cave, and we will shortly be seeing what is occupying the king and queen spot, which is going to be another roadblock for our runners.
I learn something new about Edward every single day. I didn't actually know Evil Wall hit itself if Edward was hiding.
Yeah, it's amazing all of the cheese Edward can do. Like, hide completely. It's such a broken ability. It just cheeses everything. But yeah, Evil Wall, not the only person who gets cheesed by Edward. DKC, Dark Knight Cecil, also known as the Pain Man, he can easily be cheesed. In the Ruby spot, you don't really need Edward. It comes down to Edward is useful, folks. Don't underestimate the Bard.
Even as an anchor, he's very useful.
That's probably what he's least useful as, but it is true. It is sometimes better to leave your Eddie sleeping on the floor, but the same is true for Rydia and most of the little kids in the seed, and even some of the adults. Old men sleeping on the floor, best stuff ever. Nightdew getting a little bit of EXP and a very valuable Hourglass 2. Neon finding the Stellman chest. Just gonna, unfortunately, finding it before getting that food, so this actually might be bad if we get unlucky and our characters get put to sleep. That's not gonna be fun.
Karate Man at King and Queen Edlon.
Yeah, this would normally be scary, but with Nuke, bye-bye.
Nuked off the face of the earth.
Yup, that's why we love our Fusoya. Meanwhile, Neon trying to get through these Stellmen. hopefully is able to keep stop up. It doesn't last for very long, only 10 ATB ticks, but looks like going to keep the Sailman stopped and be able to get through this fight without a wipe. Hopefully.
Ideally.
Yeah, Stellman never a fun chest to find. That's why you'll see a lot of runners not check the F1 cave chest, because usually it means a reset if you find them, but Neon pulling it together, getting through this fight, and meanwhile Nightdew is fighting the wall, and the wall has killed Rydia.
And Palom. Both children.
So yeah, even with the extra gear that Nightdew has, only doing about 5,000 damage to the wall each cast, and the wall is just so fast. And another one dead, and another one dead, and...
I don't think he equipped the ribbon and the crystal, right?
Yeah, this is... Let food carry everyone, put all your eggs in one basket. Hopefully Nightdew has the... I mean, if Nightdew had the curse ring that we saw in this village, this shouldn't be that hard to keep up in turn priority, but just looking at how fast the wall is going, I'm assuming he does not have a curse ring equipped right now.
At least Fu got a nuke off before he moved this time.
And everyone is getting killed. And yeah, definitely want, if you have the curse ring, put it on. If you don't have the curse ring, just make sure you put the ribbon and the crystal ring on Fu and wait until crush phase. That's all you have to do. Just keep on casting Cure 4 on Fu until you hit crush phase, and then ethers and nukes. We might not be underground for a while, Paranoia. Depending on how our runners are able to take on this wall, this could be a long one.
Hook required, evil wallet ruby, not a good sign.
Yeah, there are a few things scarier than evil wall at a decently strong physical spot, and especially when it's fast. Evil wall just cheats as far as the ATB is concerned, and smack, 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 smack. It's not very fun.
Just really, I got a Leviathan off this time. It's gonna be 3,000 damage-ish.
What concerns me here is I've noticed that Fu is getting petrified. And that's not a good thing, because that means Fu does not have the ribbon on. So if you're not able to kill this evil wall fast enough, then he's just going to keep crushing Fu before Fu can get off the rest of his... I'm not sure who Nightdew has the ribbon on.
I don't know if he equipped it at all.
Chat saying that Rydia has the ribbon and probably the crystal ring on as well, but it's going to be close. We're probably about 3 or 4 attacks before crush phase starts. So Fu is probably going to survive to crush phase, but then things are going to get dicey. Meanwhile,
the wall's down.
Does it? Wow, that was close. If that ice 3,
close.
Yeah, very well done by nightdew. That was very, very scary, but managed to pull it off. Meanwhile, we see Neon taking advantage of turning the ogres into little bitty small people. Not very much ogres when they're that size, and just beating them up, getting a lot of EXP off of them.
Life glitching them.
Smetty, why is Luke in the tower? Why? There better not be a tower key up there, or otherwise we're gonna have a very serious talk. But nightdew has successfully made it underground. Probably does. I mean, you gotta imagine nightdew's not feeling the greatest. You had several failed attempts on the wall. You had some technical difficulties earlier. Not the ideal scenario, but is in the lead right now. Is going to be making some fairly quick progress, I assume. They're equipping the ribbon. Maybe he didn't have it on for that fight. That would have really not felt good if you lost the fight because you didn't have the ribbon equipped. But meanwhile, we do have Neon starting their hook fights and shouldn't have too much problem. I'm fairly sure Neon has nuke. Anyway.
I missed what the Dwarf Castle boss was. Oh, it's a moon boss.
Possibly another objective, possibly not. Personally, I'm rooting for something easy.
There's our D-Lunars.
Okay, so we know Dwarf Castle is required. This is going to Quake. Why are you using Quake? Use Fire 3. Use Fire 3.
So I didn't want to risk getting it reflected.
The Lunars only put up a wall if you attack them directly, so... But Leviathan and Quake gets through them pretty quickly, so... shouldn't be anything too difficult in the Golbez spot here. Yeah, definitely not too difficult.
Have Bahamut, and then there's a Sid.
So, what's your opinion of Sid?
I love Sid. I'm a huge Sid fan.
For the most part, I have to agree. Sid is pretty good. He gets the job done when you need him to get the job done. He's got a lot of HP. He's really slow. He might not be the most damage outputting physical attacker, but overall he can hold his own in pretty much everything.
I just like his HP pool, personally.
Yeah, chat mentioning Neon has their foo in the front row. That's usually not where you want your foo. When you're in the back row, not only is enemy accuracy cut in half, but your defense is also doubled, which is pretty significant with the equipment foo has.
And Dwarf Castle giving the Legend Sword. Not very useful.
Yeah, we've already found the crystal swords, so we don't really need anything that Kokol can offer.
Picking up some hourglass 2s.
And unfortunately for Neon, this is not looking very good. Yeah, this is going to be a reset, unfortunately.
Nightdew making his way over to, it's Tomra, right? I can never remember. Yeah,
Yeah, let's see if Nightdew is a champion of the people.
Weigher and measurer.
Good job, Nightdew. The fans approve.
Run is validated.
Meanwhile, we've got a little bit of inventory trouble, but here in a minute we will fix that problem.
Bacchus wine's here. Or is it Bacchus?
Usually I say Bacchus, but the wine is good. The mad wine is definitely good. That being said, we already have an Avenger, and Sid doesn't benefit the most from Berserk, so we'll have to see where this goes. I mean, if you find Cecil, obviously you switch over to Zerker strats, but right now we've got almost a perfect team for reflect strats. If we find a Rosa, I would be dropping that Tella and letting Sid be my anchor and just reflect everything.
You're gonna see a Fey March peak. Hoping for Bygone Leviathan. Oh, there's the Darkness Crystal.
Well, the seed is now wide open.
There's some sirens for sale.
Yeah, so this is literally choose what you want to do. Do you want to grind on eggs? Do you want to grind on reuse? Do you want to demachine grind? What do you want to do? Just go do whatever you want. The world is your oyster now.
And the moon. Don't forget the moon.
The moon may not be their oyster yet. There are some nasty moon bosses.
So we have Baron Guards on Leviathan and Ruby or elements on Asura.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be... the guards are obviously free, especially if you have a curse ring equipped. You just throw the hourglass and this is over. The ribbon also resists mages, so...
Oof, ouch. They hit real hard.
Yeah, that's why you want, but yeah, hourglass out, we're fine. A couple more people are gonna die, but that's gonna be all that the guards are capable of. Meanwhile, Neon has gotten through the evil wall as well. Very well done. Definitely hasn't lost too much time, so this is anyone's race. You've got all the moon. We know that you have to do Dwarf Castle, but I assume Neon will probably do Dwarf Castle, and after that, pick your rabbit hole. The world is wide open.
Making it through the Baron Guards, no sweat. Palom getting virus there. And we got a rat tail.
More key items definitely never hurts. So, Min, what is your favorite grind?
My favorite grind, ever since I learned it, I love doing King Ryu.
Yeah, King Ryus are pretty much the bread and butter grind. It's like, it gives very consistent EXP, and It's so easy if you have the materials to do it. You need sirens, you need hourglasses. Preferably you have a good way to kill them with weak or just high-powered attacking items that are usually effective against dragons. That helps a lot, but they give a bunch of money, bunch of EXP. Meanwhile, Nightdew is starting their fight, and it is the elements. So this is a very interesting fight because the elements actually have a very large HP pool that is split 4 different ways, but because of the way reflect strats work, you can actually bypass over half the HP by skipping those triggers in their HP and reflecting spells. So this looks like just a couple fire 3s and Nightdew should be through this fight.
It's pretty hard, but it shouldn't be alive for much longer.
Yeah, I don't think Sid has any good armor equipped, and that Fire 3 does do the job. And let's see here, we have a defense sword, so more swords for our non-existent paladin and dragoon.
Could still be a Cecil on the moon.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen everything except the top of tower and Sheila 1 and the rat tail. I think you most definitely check that rat tail, see if you get the pan.
Yeah, this looks like rat tail to me.
Yeah, it's a tough call. Would you be feeling like going to the moon, especially knowing that Nightdew has had so many difficulties early? Try to make that gamble, or would you say, no, I'm going to stay here, I'm going to do that keyless tower, I'm going to do Sheila 1, I'm not going to skip out on all the basic checks?
If I can avoid the moon, I will, because a lot of the bosses up there can be really scary if they roll bad.
Speaking of scary bosses, we do have to fight a Baigen, and if that Baigen is on the moon, it's not going to be fun.
There's a Baron key off the rat tail.
In my personal opinion, that sounds... If I think I'm ahead, I think I do the Baron key. I still need to find that Baigen, and Baigen at Baron is not scary. A couple more key items. I still need to find the Earth Crystal and the Magma key, so yeah, I think it's pretty common sense to do the Baron key. Meanwhile, Neon has finished off the D-Lunars and is just about to start their Golbez fight with Bahamut. Not really a fight. Our tracker does not put up much of a fight.
Nightdew equipping his Sid, gearing him up for Baron Castle, I would assume. Yep. Neongrey through Dwarf Castle.
So yeah, after Neon, I assume Neon will fairly quickly go to Fey March. That's a very common progression, and it really comes down to where our runners go, because that Baigen and the 2 key items we have to find could literally be anywhere. And I'm interested in which Lunar Sparkle we're going to see here. As a mean commentator, I want to see Palladium because that means Ogopogo and maybe even Plague. I would like to see Plague here as well.
I wouldn't mind a Plague.
Plague or Palladium because I want that Ogopogo to be on the moon.
It's Ogopogo.
Well, rip dreams. Smetty, Smetty, where are my Ogopogos on the moon? Come on, Smetty, you gotta give me some commentary to work with here. So besides losing half of the HP on all of his characters, nightdew is going to be doing just fine. There's not anything else scary, and yeah, Dark Elf, not gonna phase, but...
Dark Elf, pretty free. Once you turn Dragon, you can basically just do whatever you want to.
That is not a good excuse, Medi. You gave them Evil Wall at Ruby and say you don't want this to take forever, but at the same time you gave them Fu, a crystal sword with no CISO. Like, make up your mind. Make it easy or make it hard, but don't go in the middle. Like, that's boring, Smetty.
Dark Elf going down pretty quickly.
Yeah, definitely not much of a problem. I will be curious to see if nightdew attempts the Odin spot. I assume that, yeah, you probably will attempt it, but...
There's Rosa.
Okay, nightdew, drop the Tella, go, or drop the Sid. Drop the Sid. No.
Oh, there goes Tella. I want to see Bagon at Magnet Cave because I want to hear the music.
I want Magma Key at Magnus, and I want Ogopogo spot Baigen with the Twin Harp.
That would be the dream. We'll see if it happens though.
I mean, I would have preferred the alt gauntlet be at the Ogopogo spot, blocking the Magma Key, but unfortunately that dream's already been robbed, and there's the Adamant.
Adamant in the garbage.
Yeah. Essentially the question is, do you want to go get 30,000 free gil so that you can spend it on the shop? But I don't imagine nightdew really feels the need with a heavy mage party like this.
Looks like he's gonna go check the Odin throne.
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty much a safe play. Definitely when you have so many objectives left, you kind of want to just cross things out as fast as possible. Get going through here, make sure that you're not leaving any worries behind. And it's a Lunar Sparkle.
With Wyvern.
This nightdew, you can't... Nightdew just killed himself.
He's gonna try. Nope. Takes a reset.
And decides to leave. Unfortunately for nightdew, his problem where there is he kept on run buffering every single ATB tick, so his party could never get a turn. That's the reason why he was never able to get a Star Bell off, because he kept on holding the run button. So otherwise he would have been just fine there, but it's fine. He'll figure it out later. So we're gonna check the
Sylph Cave. Probably do Sheila 1.
Yeah, Sheila 1, pretty standard check before you go to the moon. So in my mind, this is Nightdew saying, okay, I'm going to go to the moon. If this turns up being nothing, I don't want to deal with that wyvern. I just don't care anymore. I want my moon EXP. Please, thank you, and that's the end of this discussion.
I think I missed it, but it looks like Neon made it through one or both of the Feymarch bosses. Sheila gives the pass.
Yeah, that makes me want to do the moon even more. If you have the pass, then full clear the moon, get all that off the table, and then you don't have to worry about walking back down to the bottom, so don't have to worry about putting that Bygant off for last. Just clear the moon, get a bunch of EXP, get those reflect strats online, and kill everything. Best way of dealing with your problems, just nuke them. And with Palom, with Rydia, with Fu, and Rosa, that'll get you through anything except Valvalis. Meanwhile, while Nightdew is raising the Lunar Well, we do have Neon finishing up the Elements fight. Shouldn't take too long to get through this. Looks like Neon is using the same strategy of reflecting spells, so to my eyes, it looks like Neon might have turned down the battle speed as well. I'm not 100% sure. Oh yeah, that's definitely a lowered battle speed, so definitely shouldn't have any problems with this element fight. I'm assuming that Tella has a... Is that a direct cast nuke?
That was direct cast, yes.
That's a little bit surprising, but still had the damage done. So, in the end, pretty good. I would have been a little bit concerned about a low roll there, but gets through the fight nonetheless, and gets their defense sword.
See the moon character. Come on, dupe Edward.
I want a Yong.
Where's Kane?
Yeah, I think we're about to lose our Sid. Or Rosa. Like, you drop one, maybe Rydia. Like, there's a lot of different ways you can take this. Yeah.
There goes Sid.
Drop the Sid. Put on the Avenger. Learn all the reflect strats. No, you're gonna put on the Gungnir? No, put on the Avenger.
Avenger's better. Oh well.
Yeah, I imagine with this party, Nightdew is not afraid of pretty much anything. If you do find something you can't beat, then you just grind reuse until you learn nuke. And that will be that, as they say. Meanwhile, Neon is going and cleaning up their Sheila 1 turn-in, so should probably turn in the Rat Tail as well and get their Baron Key, and that might be an opportunity for Neon to catch up one way or the other. I know that with the Curse Ring that Neon has and the lower battle speed, that Wyvern shouldn't be too much of a problem. So if that Wyvern does gate progress, that could slow Nightdew down for quite a while.
Is he checking the crystal sword spot, or is he going to the bottom?
Right now he has not made that decision. I'm assuming...
Looks like the bottom.
Yeah. I think first a couple sirens, and then go down to the save point and check the deep lunar spot. And there, I mean, you still need to find that buy-in. You might, and key items. So go for all the key items at the bottom, and then come back up for the crystal sword.
Looks like both the characters he trying to grind got killed off in the first two.
Yeah, I wonder if nightdew has been practicing the Ice 2 strategy, as we're calling it, essentially allowing you to get a double life glitch off. If he has, that's going to be double EXP for Kane and Rosa, and you get an extra, no, just going for the single life. That's fine. It would be nice to get more Slingshot EXP. When a character is 5 levels below the median party level, you get an extra 2x EXP, but doesn't appear to be looking for that right now, and instead just getting the levels and probably looking... I don't know, do you grind all the way to Nuke for Power Meridia, or do you get a few levels, go try to find some key items, and get Nuke off of the bosses? What's your opinion, man?
I would just grind. I have Fu with Nuke, so I would grind Kane up to enough where he could, Kane and Rosa up to enough where they could survive, and then just get Nuke off the bosses. I don't see any reason to go all the way to Nuke right now when we have enough fire. I think we'd have enough firepower at this point.
Yeah, I definitely know that if I have an Avenger, I assume Kane can kill pretty much anything. And I'd rather try to be completing objectives and getting 10 key items for whatever extra EXP I need. Nuke can come after I find out that something is definitely impossible to do. Meanwhile, Neon is skipping out on checking Baron and summoning the Lunar Well, so this is going to get interesting. Our runners are once again converging a little bit, and we'll definitely see how things turn out.
Get a quick look at our first moon boss here in a second. Mylon and friends.
This is nice and easy. You can throw an hourglass and lock up the zombies, or you can summon a Leviathan and kill all the zombies. I would throw an hourglass and then just cast Nuke on Mylon until he dies, and then summon Leviathan, but either way is correct. Mylon should have somewhere in the neighborhood of just north of 30,000 EXP, so gonna take a little while to get through this, and hopefully once the gas are down, he doesn't start swinging too fast and take out this party.
Lit one's gonna tickle a little bit, but otherwise not a whole lot else.
Oh man, Leviathan was not enough to kill all of the gas. That's a little bit surprising to me, but...
Switching to the Avenger.
Yeah, Avenger Kane doing some pretty decent damage. I don't foresee too much trouble in this fight for nightdew. If Kane gets smacked and then Fu gets smacked and people start dying, that could be bad, but Mylon tends to cast Lit 1 a lot more than he hits people, so I think nightdew should be able to get through this before things fall apart.
got quite a bit of damage. Don't see this lasting much longer.
Yeah, I think we're through about 18,000 or so of Mylon's HP, so after this next nuke, we're going to be just one, maybe two more big hits away from killing him. Yeah, oh no. Wow. I guess I was a little bit wrong on my damage counts.
Neon grabbing their cane and then heading immediately out of the... Is it a palace, or...?
Yeah, I think it's called the Crystal Palace.
Right, package in the pan, both behind that Mylon and friends.
And Smetty, this is why we search for key items first, because we kill them fast, and then we get a bunch of key items, and then we get double EXP.
So we're up to 9 because the pass doesn't count.
Neon is making a very interesting play here, going for the Peldelm spot first. I'm not a fan of this too early, because usually this spot is too strong for a low-level party, and you have no quick save. But it's only a plague, so that shouldn't be too hard to take care of.
I'm gonna Val over on whatever, I can't remember what this spot is in vanilla, but...
This is probably the White Spirit Altar where Plague resides, so we've got Plague on Neon screen, and then we have Valvalis at Plague spot on Nightdew screen, so yeah. Unfortunately, pretty much all of the moon bosses are immune to magic, so just gonna have to sit out Kane smacking Valvalis a lot. I mean, you're probably going to sit out Kane and smacking Valvalis a lot either way. Jumping is a little bit scary when things hit this hard, but shouldn't be too much trouble here. Kane should be able to survive some hits, maybe get some blinks out, and yeah, you're looking at about 20 hits from Kane to actually kill, but eventually Valvalis will go down.
Looks like most of their magic evade is high enough to avoid the leaked.
Yeah, I mean, Plague doesn't have a lot of magic in vanilla. I don't know exactly how much a Val would get from that in general, but probably not the highest stats. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but we do see a pretty much infinite count going up because Neon got a wall up on Kane, so not gonna have to worry about his party dying anytime soon. Just gotta get the damage done and this Plague will go down. I am getting a little bit worried for Nightdew here because, yeah, Pooh just got turned to stone. And then Kane is down. This should still be easily recoverable since the heal was already queued up, but definitely going to slow down the fight a little bit. And we find a glass hat for Neon. Probably not that important this late in the run. The high defense is extremely overpowered early in the game, but up here things hit a little bit harder and it doesn't exactly give any other beneficial stats, so
Does that increase the amount of magic damage you take too?
It doesn't increase the amount of magic damage you take, but it has 0 magic defense, so...
Oh, okay.
Compared to other helmets, it's not as good at magic defense.
And down goes Val.
Yeah, that took a while, but
Luca Key, which is this... Wait, Sealed Cave isn't required here. That was in the other restream.
Sealed Cave is not directly required, but there's a boss down in Sealed Cave, there's a key item down in Sealed Cave. That's definitely a scary prospect for our runners. It's definitely not something you bail on the moon to go check, but definitely a prospect there.
Question in chat, what did he get? He got Luca Key, Pan, and... Pan and Packet.
Yeah, Pan and Package from the D Lunar spot, and then Luca Key from the Plex spot.
Let's see who we've got at Ogopogo spot. It's the Bagan.
Oh man, is the Twin Harp actually going to be here? And then Twin Harp is on Magma Key. That would be hilarious. Meanwhile, finding a Mylon Z for Neon, this spot hits very, very hard. So definitely going to want to get those blinks up, but doesn't have a ton of HP, so should be able to get through fairly quickly. Magma is not all that's left. We still need to find the Earth Crystal to complete the Tower of Zot.
If it is Twin Harp behind this, I'm gonna laugh.
I kind of hope it is. Like, I would definitely go for some music, and that is also a check that a lot of runners don't make quite often, so it could be another chance for Neon to gain a little bit of time on this, if it is Magma behind that, but right now, Nightdew is struggling a little bit with the timing on Leviathan, and Quake coming out a little bit slow, but getting those arms back down. Wagon's been taking a lot of damage, so shouldn't have too much HP left, but still a scary fight. Like, this can very quickly spiral out of control.
All depends on if he can keep the arms dead.
Yeah, once those arms start smacking you, bam, 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 you're getting hit by like 3 lunar bosses effectively. It's not very nice.
It hurts a little bit. Down goes the main body.
And then smacks Fu for 2,000 damage. Like, you killed my body, and now my arm is gonna play a Golbez and smack.
Lots of XP, double XP turn.
Yup.
And it's a protect ring.
So White Spear from the the Crystal Sword Altar, and Protect Ring from the Mazamoon Altar. Yeah, it looks like besides the It's going to be interesting. If Pan turns up being nothing and Luca turns up being nothing, then this would be a haunted moon, and we might see Wyvern being required. Chat asking if White Spear would be good against Wyvern. White Spear is not that great against dragons. It doesn't have any effective damage against dragons, so nothing special that would make it any better against Wyvern than, say, the Defense Sword. In fact, the Defense Sword is technically slightly more damage than the White Spear, all the way up until level 60 or something for Kayn because of accuracy problems. Meanwhile, we have Nightdew cleaning up some more King Ryus. Should need 2, maybe 3 to get ready to nuke levels. And after that, we'll probably finish up the moon, and we basically know everything except the Cave Bahamut key item. So there could be value in the cave, or value could be back on the Earth.
I'd make the play back to Earth with all the key items we just got.
I mean, if I've already came up here and I found that Baigen in a pretty rude spot, I get all those key items, I'm at least going to try Cave Bahamut. It's not going to take very long. Our tracker trying to look for value. It's not going to happen, Cave Bahamut. It's not going to happen. The cave is probably going to have... Let's see here. Let's put the spoon in the cave. Let's put the real value in the cave.
The spoon in the cave.
This is the holy altar of the spoon.
The king of the spoon. Not the dragon king, the king of the spoon.
Yes. There will be value. We're gonna have to teach Bahamut that there is not always value in Cave Bahamut. Mark my words, there is not always value in Cave Bahamut. But yeah, looking at Nightdew's HP totals, this is definitely looking like 1, maybe at most 2 more Ryus to get nuke on all of his characters, getting a low roll on the attack. That Ryu has double defense, which is actually 100 defense. So it's actually hard to deal damage to the...
Oh my god!
Back yes. So a note for anyone in chat, the Ryu, when it's in the back row, has 108 defense. So if you don't have more than about 70 attack power, you have 0 chance of dealing more than 1 damage to it. And yes, it's very much a problem, especially when you have a Yong, like a level 30 Yong. He'll punch the front one for 1,000 damage, and then he'll punch the back one for 1 damage, and it's just the worst feeling ever. Yong is so useless when he's not high enough level, but Neon finding the Valvalis does not immediately reset, so trying to test out the nuke, going to find out that nuke is not going to get the job done. But meanwhile, Nightdew has fully powered up. I imagine he's going to clean house on these 2 or 3 remaining moon bosses that he wants to take on, and then turn in the pan, look for those key items, and honestly, it's up to him what he does after that. You got Luca, you got that Wyvern at Odin, definitely a lot of different paths still available to our runners. Hooray, Rosa got poisoned, and the game has to take a full 10 seconds to tell us.
Even like poison's not that big a deal.
Okay, Bahama, if you're so insistent about it, what do you say? One cookie says there is no value in K Bahama. Meanwhile, nightdew getting their white spear, not incredibly value with all the other items we've gotten. Neon still working their way through Val. It's just a lot of slow bosses on the moon. Not particularly dangerous, but take a while to get through. Those large HP totals making this party isn't exactly set up for damage currently. And nightdew actually making a surprising play, skipping out on Helldom, skipping out on K Bahamut, saying, I don't believe in the value, and I believe in the pan. And honestly, I can't blame anyone for believing in the pan.
Totally agree with him skipping the rest of it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing a game where you need 2 key items, yeah, you're definitely going to go to pan as soon as possible. That's just asking for trouble if you decide to skip the pan and leave it off and let your opponent do it before you.
Bonk. The spoon!
Well, it's not a spoon that is being worshipped in K Bahamut today. Uh-oh, I might be losing the cookie, but too soon to tell is what I'm gonna say. Yeah, French vanilla spoon. What is this, Smetty? Why is the spoon French vanilla?
Neon hitting their 10 key items. And there's the twin harp.
Okay, the real question, nightdew, are you truly a man of the people? Like, you gave us the drop dwarf check, but that only takes 5 seconds. Are you willing to give us music?
He's gonna do it.
Oh man, nightdew, the man of the people. So, Min, what's your favorite harp song?
I've always liked anything from Final Fantasy 1.
Final Fantasy 1, okay.
What
I'm gonna
about you?
say... Oh, there's so many good ones. I'm always a fan of Zelda music. Most of the Final Fantasy music I'm a big fan of. I know that just the other day we got some music from, I think it was called, from River City Ransom that was really, really good. Honestly, I don't know if it's in here, but tonight, just to be a troll, I would want Vanilla Harp, because we don't get Vanilla Harp ever. Probably not going to happen. I don't think that's a choice, but I would love to hear Vanilla Harp one day in a seed. It's like, ha ha ha, I trolled you.
I mean, Edward's theme is one of the best songs in this entire game, in my opinion, so...
Meanwhile, we're gonna let nightdew kill off his party here, and I am going to go silent chat, so enjoy the sweet tunes. Some lovely music from Kakariko Village tonight, but nightdew just nukes Ashura, ends the music, and finds a tower key.
Tower key.
Interesting. Meanwhile, Neon has started their gunfight and is in a little bit of trouble here. Baigen being a little bit nasty. Hopefully can recover this fight. Leviathan might be close to the killing blow here.
Question in chat about nightdew having a substantial lead. He has completed one objective that Neon just finished. They're equal in objectives, but nightdew has completed the checks a lot quicker. But I think it's still too early to tell, personally, just because we still don't know where the Earth Crystal or the Magma Key are.
Yeah, at this point, nightdew has completed his grind, which is a very important fact, but Neon has done one more moons check than nightdew has. On the flip side, nightdew has done Baron, but not the Odin spot, and is now turned in his pan, done the Twin Harp, and about to do both tower spots.
Gonna take the Dark Imp fight first. Shouldn't be too bad. This spot's never that bad.
Oh man, the time has come. We're about to find out whether or not Bahama owes me a cookie. I mean, it's probably not a good idea to argue against the tracker who has access to the seed and could have probably checked this if they really, really wants to, but either way, this could be huge for Neon. Nightdew has skipped on this check so far. If this is Earth Crystal into Magma Key, that could be big. Ruby here, not the scariest. Personally, I would have probably cracked a couple sirens here. Little known fact, both the second and third floor of Cave Bahamut have reuse as the rarest encounter, so a great place to get your grind done if you need.
Vanilla Lugia.
Oh, I love what I just saw from Neon's side, queuing up the Lit 3 instead of the Ice 3, expecting the cloak to close before the spell goes off. I'm not sure if that's going to be true, but either way, the Lit 3 is still going to do decent damage, and yes, here comes the Lit 3s out, and still going to do damage instead of getting absorbed like a Ice 3 would have.
Nightdew gonna power right through the first phase. Shouldn't be too terribly difficult considering he's finished his grind already. Artemis Arrows.
Rip Nightdew so far. Tower Key could pay off a little bit, but that does mean not great things.
Earth Crystal. Uh-oh. I think you owe someone a cookie.
Yeah, I owe someone a cookie. Fine, if honestly, thanks RPG Limit Break for the raid. I assume you guys were just watching Free Enterprise as well. Welcome to our race. Man, would you like to give a small recap of how the race has progressed so far?
Sure, so the seed started off pretty quick. The mist at Baron Guards led into a hook off Radia's mom, which was required for underground access and had an evil wallet ruby. So we got to underground about 45 minutes in, which led to required dwarf cave and to darkness crystal at Feymarch, which then led into both of them going to the moon, and this is where we are now. And Earth Crystal Magma Key required Earth Crystal was in Bahamut Cave.
Yeah, I mean, we had a kind of scary opening with a evil wall at Ruby, but both runners managed to get through that and found all the bosses fairly early. Baigen was our last boss at the Ogopogo spot, and now we've got a conundrum here because Tower Key is required, which means Twin Harp is required. So definitely going to be interesting to see if Neon decides to do Twin Harp before the Baron Key.
Chat question, Earth Crystal was in Bahamut Cave.
Yeah, we literally just found both of the key items we need to complete the seed seconds apart, but on different runner screens.
Nightdew probably gonna reset. Yep. Well, no, not quite. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, maybe taking a second to find the reset button. I know that in my setup I have to find my mouse and try to click around like, come on, let me reset. Maybe also was thinking, have I seen Demus? But yeah, we saw that early in the seed.
I hope he goes to Bahamut Cave first and not the Pale Dome Altar.
Honestly, I want to see him fight that Wyvern just to see what's behind the Wyvern. Let's give Neon a chance to catch up. That would be lovely for me. I mean, nightdew is a good runner, but no, going back to the moon. Like, I don't want to fight that Wyvern, and I don't really blame you, but oh well.
I wouldn't want to fight it either.
Wyvern isn't that bad, people. It's...
Looks like he's going back into the altar.
Meanwhile, we have found our ninja. One thing that could give Neon maybe a little bit of an advantage is if they also find that Cecil, who we've had a crystal sword for this entire seed, but we've not been able to find our Cecil.
Dupe Edward, please. Ah, oh, there's Cecil.
I definitely think you take the Cecil.
Oh yeah, for sure. With Crystal Sword and Botcha Swines for sale pretty easy. It's like you don't even have to think.
Yeah. The rest of your party is a little bit of a harder question to answer. Actually, I'm a little like I'm slightly concerned here with this swap. Does Neon have Bacchus wines? Because Bacchus wines are going to be very, very required.
For this party, absolutely.
I mean, we do have the Avengers, so it'll be mostly fine, but... yeah.
For the record, I don't think Wyvern's that bad, it's just annoying.
I do not owe you a cookie anymore, Bahama. I already gave it to you. So, no, I don't owe you a cookie. Nightdew getting a glass hat, not particularly wanting that, so probably, yeah, checking Cave Bahama, about to find that Earth Crystal. Meanwhile, we find more Cecil in the tower, all the Cecil in all the tower. Yeah, I'm really interested in how Neon shapes up their team here at the end. Doesn't have, with Palom being that level, with a Cursed Ring, Palom is pretty much always a good anchor, but yeah.
This is gonna end up being really close.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on what Neon decides to do next, because it's really a question of, once you turn in the pan and you get your Twin Harp, do you go Baron or do you go Twin Harp? And that is a really tough choice, and I think almost everyone goes Baron. In fact, you might Bahamut summon, that's kind of nice. For the video we just threw away. There's a question in chat, is there anything Ruby can do? In this spot, the magic power is pretty low, so the fire 2 counters and even the glare aren't going to be that bad. Glare will probably still kill someone who, if it hits one of the mages. Otherwise, yeah, dead Ruby. The other thing you could do if you didn't set up your party right is Ruby does have some physical attacks, so that's very much a possibility, but really it comes down to it's not going to really matter because there's so much time between the physical attacks. You can easily keep your party up. Oh, was that a joke? I'm sorry.
Neo doing some shopping, nightdew on his way back to Earth. I would assume it's towards the Tower of Zot. There's nothing else really to do at this.
Yeah, if you're going somewhere else, you're going to the wrong place. And kind of have to agree with Ground Flyer here. I don't know exactly how much nightdew likes his routing here, but he did have the technical difficulties earlier in the seed, and it's going to be really interesting trying to talk to him about that. But besides that, having a little bit of problems with the Evil Wall, had a few rough resets early. Other than that, still made fairly quick work out of the later parts of the seed. Had a lot of difficulties in the first hour, but once that first hour was off, he's been clearing through the seed very, very well. Nightdew is one of our top runners in Free Enterprise, and showing a few signs of rust here and there, but once the seed has started going, he's definitely been making all very efficient checks and just cleaning the seed up very quickly.
As soon as that Evo wall went down, the seed just cracked wide open.
Yeah, the only good thing is, even though Smetty tried to give us a quote-unquote easy seed, and it was easy, it just took a while because all the bosses took forever to get through, so gonna make him sit through 2 hours before he plays his Path of Exile or whatever he was talking about earlier.
Question in chat, are bosses also randomized? Yes. All bosses are random and scaled up or down depending on the spot that they're in.
Yeah, we try to remain true to vanilla as much as possible. So for the most part, the HP, the speed, the attack power, and things like that are going to be almost exactly identical to the vanilla power of the spot, but your other things like what the boss's scripts and everything will be from the randomized boss that you pull up.
Not taking the Cecil or the Edge.
Yeah, Nightdew is one step away from Go mode. There's no reason to keep those two. You would just have to spend time leveling them up when he's got a team full of nukes and whites. Zeromas will not last very long.
Yeah, well, this Dark Knight.
Yeah, I mean, you're about to get your crystal. You're going to get back on your airship fly back over to the place that you just got kicked out of, and then you're going to slay Zeromus. So not too much left here for nightdew. Definitely not a lot of problems left for a team with this many levels.
Another question in chat. No, Zeromus is not put in the boss pool just because he's too hard. That's to fight in like any other spot except the end of the game.
It's not even just that, it's the fact that Zeromus has a very awkward script. There's just a lot of problems with, especially his sprite size. His sprite size is enormous. It would not fit onto most of the locations in the game. His flash effects and stuff would not work in a lot of locations. The Big Bang attack would have a lot of visual bugs and stuff, so not really the best things, but we do see chat starting to throw out some particular emotes.
Most important question of all.
Yeah, so we have a ritual, you might say, here on Free Enterprise when our runners go to Zeromus. We include a very little modification since we can't put Zeromus in the other boss spots. We decide we still want some randomization here. So instead of putting him in a random spot, we pick a random boss from various RPGs or works of video gaming history and use that as our boss for the night. So we have a very important question, Min.
What's that question?
Whose butt are we going to kick tonight? Meanwhile, Neon turning in their pan, going to find that spoon, find that twin harp, and then be faced with a very, very difficult decision. Do you go to twin harp, or do you go to Baron?
Okay, here we go. Zeromus in full swing almost. One more question. Yes, there is a Final Fantasy V randomizer. This is FF6, isn't it?
Possibly. It's definitely one of the dragon bosses from probably one of the Final Fantasies. It might not be. I'm not sure. Kaiser Dragons belong to a lot of different Final Fantasies or different video games, honestly. So, a lot of people are saying a super boss from Final Fantasy VI. Either way, looks like nightdew kept the Avenger on Kane, which means probably going to not be able to skip the refill, so going for hybrid strats. Essentially what that means is Kane is going to be doing physical damage, and all of our mages are going to be reflecting all the spell damage possible. Going to see a lot of damage coming out of nightdew's side. If he's very, very... Oh wait, no, he doesn't have the Avenger, but never mind. So, essentially all we have to do is 61,000 damage, about half of Zeromus's full HP full, and this fight will be over. Meanwhile, Neon is going to give us an encore of music. Unfortunately, came here a little bit too late. Nightdew made the correct check of going back to the moon instead of wasting more time on Wyvern. And actually, does he have any checks besides Wyvern left? I don't think so. So just took me on a little bit too long to get here, but at the very least, we'll be treated for more music.
Meanwhile, solid Z execution so far. Looks to me like he nerfed the first Big Bang.
And with that, we do have a flash. Nightdew has finished the seed with an official SRO time of 1 hour, 58 minutes, and 42 seconds. GG's to Nightdew, and we'll see if we can get him in for an interview here in just a minute. I hope you all are enjoying the encore of the Twin Harp by Neon right now. As soon as Neon finishes off Ashura, we will have our interview with Nightdew. And Neon is through Ashura, just about to get their tower key, which will lead them to their magma key. Meanwhile, we are joined by Nightdew. GG's, Nightdew.
Hello, hello.
Whoa.
So, we noticed some difficulties at the beginning of that seed. Do you have anything to say about that? It looked like you had some crashes.
Yes, I do. I still do use a DualShock 4 right now, and it gets kind of funny whenever the connection gets messed with. And I have a certain little feline friend who is sleeping peacefully next to me, who decided to run into it at full speed and kind of disconnect me.
Ouch.
So that was the source of those. Thankfully, I had just saved. We didn't lose too much time. And
yeah, we noticed you had to reset back into Antlion and then redo the boss fight. And then after winning the boss fight, you had to reset again and play it again. So you lost a good, you didn't lose too much time, but how did it feel going into the seed after losing a decent amount of time there at the beginning of the game?
I mean, losing 2.5 minutes kind of sucks there. I mean, you never like losing any kind of time there. So you kind of get down there, and I feel like I made kind of I should have just, ran that hook immediately, saw who the boss was. I'm like, yay, foo, that evil wall's gonna suck with this party. So it kind of came down to, okay, let's get out of here. Let's go to Ordeals, which are reset out of an old Gauntlet, because we're definitely going to have to take that now. Hope beyond hope that we get Nuke for Foo. We got Nuke for Foo. And then it just kind of became a whole you know, can I get like one offensive spell off with Rydia or Palom at that point, either a Leviathan or a Quake? Because I'm pretty sure that plus 3 nukes and maybe a tier 3 from Vu would get it done. Of course, I, you know, didn't equip the ribbon, which I really should have done, but yeah.
Yeah, we were definitely talking about that. We were thinking, oh, you got the crystal ring, you got the ribbon, just put both of those on Fu, put them in the back row, and eventually you'll win if you have some ethers. We were very, very impressed with that fight, though, like, just barely inched out. I don't know how much extra damage you had there, but I know that spot has 25,000 HP, and it's like, oh man, you're getting like 5,000 or 6,000 a pop, and then you get a couple more spells, and it's like that high 4,000 roll. It had a bit close, but yeah, it was definitely nice to see you get through that after a few fights that just didn't go your way there.
No, I mean, but after that, I mean, it's like, okay, and I'm sure I could hear people in the background like, well, he's got Tele, he's got Fu, here comes the D-Machine grind somewhere, but I'm like, well, here's Sirens, I've got Fu can roll over the underground, and we got some actually very winnable Leviathan Asura fights that we could just kind of roll through and use the reflex strats for the elements there, so it was actually kind of a load off to see those go away, but as soon as I saw like and I know while I was kind of hanging out here before that, everybody's talking about that Wyvern down in the Odin spot, and definitely in the back of my mind the entire time here, I'm rolling up to that last check I had for the Earth Crystal. I'm like, well, okay, if I don't get this, my play is either to go shop for a Curse Ring or probably pull Tella out of the retirement home and have him anchor that fight.
Yeah, that was something definitely interesting. I think we saw both you and Neon, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we saw both of you head into Mist Village, and that was where the curse ring was. I thought I saw you even checking the shops there. I'm not 100% sure, but...
Oh, no, I did not. I did not check the Mist Village shops. I checked very few non-item shops, to be completely frank. And it's something I've just been kind of doing in these seeds. I mean, it's one of those things where I'm kind of looking at it, I'm like, even with the Gold Dragon grind, I'm like, well, I'm down to about like 5 life potions. I'm kind of feeling a little bit of it, but it's like, yeah, I've checked a few item shops, I've got my Bacchus, I've got my Hourglasses, I've got a few Coffins, I've got the Sirens. What else do we need?
Yeah, that basic starter kit with the S standard shops really changes that shopping dynamic quite a bit. You can definitely get away with skipping a lot. It does kind of hurt when you do miss out on the curse ring because for a heavy Zerker team, but with a heavy mage team like this, not really too much to say. I mean, just keep your Tella a little bit low level and trade him out when he gets leveled up, and everything's gonna go just fine.
Yeah, as soon as I saw Rosa at Dwarf Castle along with everybody else I had, I'm like, okay, we're taking Reflect as Aromas. There is no other thing we're going to do here. I'm not going to sit on the potentiality. Yes, I had a Crystal Sword at that point in time, but you know, every other check, you know, for characters was gated as opposed to the moon, and there was Dragoon up there, and I'm like, well, okay, you can do some work with an Avenger, so you're in. But yeah, I mean, as soon as I had pretty much the 4 primary casters of the game there, it's like, okay, this is what I'm taking as Aromas.
Yeah, so how did it feel going all the way up Ordeals, getting that like Crystal Sword and being like, oh man, as soon as we find Cecil, it's gonna destroy everything, and then literally the last thing you see in the siege before you get to finish it is a Cecil like, hey guys, I'm here if you want me, but I'm kind of useless right now.
It is maybe why I threw that Crystal Sword in the bin.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually I felt really terrible about it because I climbed Ordeals like the first time without Fu, and it's like, you know, I probably could have taken that all Gauntlet. Probably. It would have taken a lot longer. I think Palom had just got virus, and I had enough MP for one Leviathan at that point in time, it was not going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think Palom would have gotten through it pretty easily. Virus, the encounters up there aren't that bad. Neon got through it without too much trouble at all. Neon went up there even before doing Baron In and getting the ribbon and the Eddy.
I'm sorry, who?
Funny joke there. Funny joke.
Yes.
But overall, the food definitely made the fight a little bit faster with the level 3 spells. Not considerably so, but did help you catch up with some of the time you had lost from having to go up there a second time. And you both pretty much were neck and neck heading into the underground, taking that hook route. It just kind of happened that Neon decided to go check the rest of the shops and found a bunch of ethers and ether 2s, which could have been important, but each of you didn't really need them. Managed to get through just with food-based MP, and so yeah, we were kind of hoping that the ethers would have played a bigger role, set through till crush phase using that ribbon and that crystal ring, but turned out not to be needed, and both of you did an excellent job clearing through that. And after that, it was okay, we have food, the seed is just a matter of time. Gotta find that Baigen, gotta check and find every single key item in the game, beat everything except that wyvern, and yeah.
Oh yeah, the fuel's actually, it's like, okay, well, you know, I left 2 bosses on the moon, I'm like, I've got a pan, I've got a Luca key, I was perfectly ready to go and save scum them until every last one of those checks deepened the rabbit hole, and I'm like, oh no, this is where I either win the match or lose the match, because I'm like, okay, I'm committing to this rabbit hole. And thankfully, at the end of it, with that tower key was the magma key, and the immense sigh of relief on this end, knowing that it was required to follow it all. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I lost a cookie to Bahamut because I bet him that there wouldn't be value in Cave Bahamut again. Our tracker is Bahamut, and needless to say, he's been having a very lucky streak of when he is tracking. He gets a bunch of stuff in his cave, so...
I mean, to be fair, you know, Cave Bahamut was the reason I lost my first match. I'm like, oh, that's Odin in there. I don't want any piece of that with Rydia, not with Lit 3. So I go clean out Lunar Subterranean, and of course what I need is, you know, in Cave Bahamut. I should know better. I mean, you know, Team of Zone 1, I mean, I was Cave Bahamut team, so... Yeah, one of these days I'll learn myself to keep checking for value.
But yeah, overall a great run. The only thing you did that Neon didn't do was the Baron key. They hadn't gotten around to checking that yet, but we were kind of hoping for that Wyvern to have value. Didn't hold out in the end. But yeah, you did a great job clearing the run. Min, do you have anything else to ask nightdew about?
Nope, he answered everything I was going to ask about, so...
Well, congrats on getting to 3-2, bringing yourself back out of the depths of despair, going all the way down, losing your first 2 matches, and then making the reverse sweep to come back. Good luck with the rest of the tournament, and hope to see what other people you force out of the tournament.
You make it sound so mean. I'm the boogeyman now, right? No, not at all. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll be seeing you guys during the play-in matches unless something really weird happens. But you know, hey, pressure's on. I needed Team of Zone 1 and 2. I was playing matches all the time. I mean, it's you know, the pressure doesn't get to you after a while. You just really play your game.
Well, Continue to play your game very well. I look forward to you taking out Penguinator or someone later. But other than that, great run tonight, Nightdew, and good luck in the rest of the tournament.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and yep, goodbye. Good night.
Meanwhile, we do see Neon here finishing up our Kaiser Dragon. Not going to have too much trouble with a leveled up Cecil, Kane, Edge, all zerked, and then nukes flying out as well. Yeah, this is not going to take very much longer. While we're watching Neon finish this up, just wanted to give out a shout out to all of our Restream team. Great job to Smetty running the Restream and giving us a fairly enjoyable seed. Could have used a few more rude bosses, and a few less foods, but we're willing to forgive him. Bahama X doing an excellent job on tracking, and my co-commentator Min. Overall, we've had a very successful run here, and yes, Neon has finished the seed with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 13 minutes, and 16 seconds. And it does sound like we're joined by Neon. GG's, Neon.
Hey, thank you.
So, obviously, the big thing everyone has to ask is, how did you feel about getting that early Crystal Sword on the required ordeals, and then Cecil hiding literally the entire seed for you to find them?
I was looking for him. That's actually why I was right in Zot, where I was right before I pick up Edge, to go forward to the next room, I'm checking my levels, and that's where I had the question of, okay, do I need to grind still? Because at that point, I knew where ninja swords were. I would have taken Edge, and then there was Cecil there also, so I still had to grind anyway. So, it all paid off. I don't mind having, Rydia certainly was, MVP for most of the seed. That Leviathan did a lot of work. Yeah, no, it worked out.
Yeah, we definitely saw both you and Nightdew making great use of that Leviathan early. But one of the big factors in the seed, that evil wall, the evil wall sitting there in the ruby spot. How did it feel going down in there and trying to get past that?
This was actually where, I'm going to say, because I was listening to the interview a bit before I came in, and I have to say, the ethers I picked up, they were actually needed. I needed one more cast of nuke than Fu actually had, and that's actually why I lost the first time. So, yeah. Those are relevant ethers.
Watching too carefully during the fight. Nightdew managed to pick up a little bit of time because he chose to skip the trap chest, and
yeah,
that really is what got you. Is that Staleman chest took a very long time for you because you still hadn't found the Fu yet.
Yeah,
and
it took way too long, that chest. But I'm sitting there and I realized I've been shopping. I can't reset out of this. So I'm I have to finish the fight, otherwise I gotta reshop, and it's gonna take the same amount of time anyway to do that.
Yeah, that's definitely, it's a very annoying fight. Sometimes you get something good out of it, but for the most part, with the sleeps, it's hitting so hard, and all the magic resist, it's fairly difficult to get through. Definitely not one of my favorite fights, and yeah, just overall not very fun.
Yeah, I think that was a defense sword, which I didn't even need because I had 2 by the time I found Kane, so whatever. I don't know.
But yeah, we definitely saw quite a bit of very good play from you. There were a few times when you had a very good shot at winning the seed. Unfortunately, the seed just went really, really long, and nightdew spent a little bit of time on the moon grinding up, getting Nuke and White on all of his party members, and once that happens, it's pretty much GG. Just cleared everything up very quickly and efficiently.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
And I thought about it, but I'm like, I don't really have a good way of killing those dragons. I had like 3 hourglasses, which at that point I'm like, it wouldn't really be worth it. So I just plowed through and held them for after, and then I just, took a few eggs.
Yeah, definitely. No problem either way. It's just one play is really good if you find go mode pretty early, and then one is better for if you do have to check every spot in the game. And the only thing you didn't get to see that nightdew did is he did do Baron, and the first 2 fights were fairly free, but the Odin spot had a wyvern in it, and he had not found a curse string, so
oh no.
He, needless to say, did not spend very long there. Decided, I want to go to the moon. The moon sounds much nicer than this, so...
Yeah, I consciously avoided that Baron at that point, and I was like, it could have something, but at the point I was looking at it, I was looking for bosses and key items, and there were just that many more open checks on the moon. And then by the time I came back down to Earth, I was like, I could check there, but, if there's something important there, I lose. Because that one opened up relatively early. No point. Just, in fact, I think it was nightdew, actually, from whom I first heard, to just, follow those chains. So, I followed my chains, and it was the right call. I was just a little bit too slow on the draw there.
Yeah, you definitely did a great job getting through the seed. Just a little bit of bad luck drawing nightdew of all people.
Yeah.
Not a very nice person to play for your 2-2 match, but unfortunately you are out of the tournament now. But you did a great run. Was very close. Just a little bit of bad luck. A different day and a different runner to face, and you'd probably be in. That's just the way rando goes.
Yeah, and somebody's got to play them, and I can think of, far worse people that I'd like to play. It just far less matches I'd like to be in. The fact that I came like about 15 minutes on the nose, more or less, behind him, I'm actually really happy with that. I'm not a great player. I don't think I ever will be. I don't really have the time or inclination to grind that out. But I like to think I'm a pretty good one. And I do, that I'm okay with that. I'm okay with how I did there.
Yeah, it was definitely a good run. You really did most of the seed very, very well. There wasn't anything strategically wrong about any of your plays. It's just nightdew is one of the faster runners, and he was clearing things out a bit faster.
Yeah, and I've always been a bit pokey that way, which, again, I could grind that out if I cared to. I really don't.
Yeah, but anyway, I think we're just about done here. Min, did you have any final questions for Neon?
Nope, that was a really solid run. You did a great job.
Well, thank you. And yeah, GG nightdew, and good luck going forward.
Yeah, great round tonight. GG Neon, and with that, I think we are finished for tonight. It sounds like we're going to raid Flurry here in just a few minutes. So thanks for watching, everyone. Again, shout outs to all of our Restream team and the Free Enterprise community. Great community and great to be here. This is Simbu, and have a good night.